For years, Andy Griffith was the steady heartbeat of Mayberry, calm, collected, always the rock that kept the show's charm alive. But what if I told you there was a day when even Andy, America's small-town sheriff and TV's most trusted father figure, simply lost it? Yes. There was one shocking moment on set when the man everyone admired reached his breaking point. Cast members fell silent. Crew members exchanged stunned glances. And for a few unforgettable minutes, the world behind the cameras looked nothing like the gentle world of Mayberry. What could possibly push Andy Griffith to that edge? Was it the pressure of constant filming, a personal struggle, or a clash with someone on set today? We're going to uncover the story of that day, the one moment when Andy Griffith revealed he was only human after all. On screen, Andy Griffith seemed effortless. His warm drawl, gentle humor, and fatherly presence made Sheriff Taylor the anchor of Mayberry. But behind the smile was a man carrying an enormous weight. The Andy Griffith Show had quickly become one of America's most beloved programs. And with that success came relentless demands. Scripts had to be delivered, scenes had to be perfect, and the pressure from sponsors and the network never seemed to ease. Andy wasn't just the star, he was the face of the entire production. Every minor hiccup, from a missed line to a delayed set change, felt like it landed squarely on his shoulders. And though he carried himself with grace, those who worked closest to him noticed moments when his patience grew thin. Long hours, grueling schedules, and the challenge of keeping a cast and crew in harmony created a tension no one outside the soundstage could see. Even the smallest disagreements, a joke that didn't land, a scene that dragged on slowly, added up. For Andy, the line between his real self and the sheriff everyone expected him to be was beginning to blur. And it was only a matter of time before all that pressure boiled over. It happened on what should have been an ordinary shooting day. The cast had gathered for a light-hearted scene inside the Taylor household, one of those moments the audience would later remember as warm and simple. But behind the cameras, the atmosphere was tense. The dialogue wasn't clicking, and after multiple takes, the timing still felt off. Andy had been unusually quiet all morning, his jaw tight, his patience wearing thin. When another line stumbled something that might have drawn only a chuckle on a better day, Andy snapped. His voice, usually calm and measured, rose sharply across the set. The sudden outburst cut through the laughter and chatter like a thunderclap. Crew members froze in place. Boom mics hovered motionless, and fellow actors stared in disbelief. Andy's frustration poured out in a way no one had ever seen before. He wasn't yelling at just one person. It was as though months of stress had suddenly erupted in that instant. For a moment, the illusion of Mayberry was shattered. Gone was the gentle sheriff. In his place stood a man wrestling with pressure and exhaustion. Silence gripped the room until Andy, realizing the weight of what had just happened, turned away. His shoulders heavy. The cast and crew exchanged uncertain glances. Was this the beginning of a rift, or just a rare crack in an otherwise steady foundation? The outburst lingered in the air like smoke after a sudden fire. For a few seconds, no one moved. Don Knotts, usually the quick-witted source of humor both on and off screen, sat frozen, unsure whether to lighten the mood or stay silent. Ron Howard, just a boy at the time, looked wide-eyed at the man he admired as both a TV father and a mentor. The crew, seasoned professionals, avoided eye contact, pretending to fiddle with lights or scripts, giving Andy the space he clearly needed. Whispers trickled through the set after he stepped away. Some wondered if this was the breaking point that could fracture the smooth-running machine of the Andy Griffith Show. Others quietly admitted they understood after all. The demands of a hit sitcom weighed heavily on everyone, but Andy carried more than most. Yet the most telling reaction came not in words but in respect. No one condemned him. No one held it against him. If anything, The incident humanized Andy in their eyes. He wasn't just a star, he was a man trying to hold together a world of expectations. The silence slowly gave way to cautious smiles, gentle nods, and a mutual understanding this was a moment to let pass, not to amplify. By the end of that day, the cameras rolled again, but the memory of Andy's eruption stayed with everyone present. It was a reminder that even the calmest souls have limits, and that Mayberry's magic depended on very real people under very real strain. The remarkable thing about Andy Griffith wasn't that he lost his temper, it was how he handled what came next. After storming off set, Andy took time to cool down, walking the lot alone before returning with a quieter, humbled demeanor. He didn't sweep the moment under the rug. Instead, he gathered the cast and crew together, his voice steady but soft, and offered something rare in Hollywood at the time, a genuine apology. Andy admitted the pressure had gotten the better of him, and that his frustration had nothing to do with any one person. He thanked everyone for their patience, making it clear that he valued their hard work and camaraderie above all else. That simple act of honesty disarmed the tension instantly. Don Knotts cracked a small joke to lighten the air, and even young Ron Howard smiled, reassured that his mentor was still the man he admired. From that day on, Andy was more mindful of the weight he carried. He found ways to delegate responsibility, leaned more on his trusted co-stars, and learned to recognize when the stress was building before it boiled over. His willingness to own the moment, rather than let pride keep him distant, not only mended relationships, it deepened them. In the end, Andy's rebound became just as legendary as his breakdown. It showed everyone on set that leadership wasn't about being perfect, but about having the humility to admit when you're not. In the grand story of The Andy Griffith Show, that outburst never made it to the screen. Viewers at home saw only the calm, fatherly sheriff guiding Mayberry with a steady hand. But for those who stood on set that day, the memory lingered as a powerful reminder even icons carry human burdens. Andy's breaking point revealed something far deeper than a moment of anger. It revealed the cost of perfection. Over the years, cast and crew would look back on that incident not with bitterness, but with respect. They saw how Andy handled himself afterward, how he chose honesty over pride, and how he transformed a mistake into a lesson. That moment quietly shaped the show's culture, encouraging openness and forgiveness in an industry where egos often ran unchecked. It also added a layer of depth to Andy's legacy. Fans adored him for the character he played, but those who knew him best admired him for his humanity. He wasn't flawless, and that's what made him real. His ability to bounce back from weakness with grace only strengthened the bonds that held the Mayberry family together. In a way, Andy's outburst became an unseen episode, one that never aired, but still left its mark on everyone involved. It was proof that the magic of Mayberry wasn't built on perfection, but on people learning, growing, and carrying on together. And that quiet lesson still lingers, long after the cameras stopped rolling. Looking back, the day Andy Griffith reached his breaking point is more than just a behind-the-scenes story. It reminds us that even the gentlest, most admired figures carry the same struggles we all do. Andy wasn't just Sheriff Taylor. He was a man under constant pressure, doing his best to live up to impossible expectations. And in that moment of weakness, followed by humility and strength, he left behind one of the most human lessons of all, that true character is revealed not in never falling, but in how you rise after the stumble. For fans, it deepens our appreciation of The Andy Griffith Show. Knowing the challenges behind the laughter and warmth only makes the magic on screen more meaningful. Mayberry wasn't perfect, and neither was Andy, but maybe that's why it still feels so real, so timeless. Now we want to hear from you. How would you have reacted if you had been there on set that day? Would you have been shocked? Or would you have understood right away that Andy was simply human like the rest of us? Share your thoughts in the comments. We'd love to know your take. And if you enjoyed this glimpse behind the curtain, don't forget to like this video, subscribe, and join us as we continue uncovering the hidden stories and unforgettable memories of America's favorite small town. Mayberry may be gone, but with your support, its spirit lives on.